Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Hope everybody's having a good day. Good week so far. I mean, it's just starting, but anyways, make it the best you can. I want to talk about last night's Jets-Bills game. But one thing I do want to do is before I get into talking about the game, I really want to talk about something that has been bothering me for years in this league. The officiating in the National Football League has got to be the worst of any major sport. I mean, those officials are absolutely terrible. Last night, each team had over 100 yards in penalties. They were calling penalties that weren't penalties. They were missing penalties that were pass interference. I don't know how many times the Jets had pass interference calls. I forgot to count them. I mean, one of the Bills' drives was because of Jets pass interference calls, and they were just not pass interference calls. I mean, the officiating in the NFL is getting to the point where, I mean, these games are almost unwatchable to me. I don't know how anybody else out there feels. I'd love to hear anybody else's comments, but the officiating in this league is absolutely atrocious. And for anybody to sit around and say, well, you know, that they should have scored teams. And first of all, let me stop myself there and say this. The Jets didn't lose last night's game because of the officiating. They lost last night's game because they're the same old Jets, and they're always going to be the same old Jets. I'll get into that after. I just wanted to more or less get this off my chest, get this out of my mind. The NFL officials are so horrible. I mean, last night, they even took about a 5 or 7 minute conversation between them all on an offside call. At the end, he comes in and goes offsides on the defense or whoever it was. They can't even throw a flag and get it down. They have to all meet at the center field to decide to talk about it. It's just absolutely horrible. It's making the sport, to me, unwatchable. I'll tell you right now, I have to force myself sometimes to watch NFL games. The and they do, and for anybody to tell you differently, they're stupid. They can decide who wins a game. They decide the outcome of a game by one call. That's all it takes. How many times have we all seen a Patrick Mahomes interception get called back on a very sketchy call? It happened to the Jets last year, and the game Zach Wilson outplayed Patrick Mahomes, and the Jets should have won that game. But a bullshit interference call gave him the ball back. I remember the one play last year, he ran for a fourth down and 20 something yards. He ran for a first down when Jermaine Johnson was clearly being held. So the officials do determine the outcome of games. So if anybody tells you they don't, they're just either lying or they're a fan of the team that got the call on their side. And it happened to both teams last night too, which is why I'm going to go on to say the Jets didn't lose because of officiating last night. I just want to point the officiating. It is absolutely horrendous in this league. The holding calls, the pass interference calls. If you make an ugly face at certain quarterbacks, it's a 15-yard penalty. Other quarterbacks, you can cut them in half and they don't say anything. But anyways, it happened to both teams last night. I thought, in my opinion, when Aaron Rodgers went down, that wasn't roughing the passer on that Buffalo Bills. I don't know who he was. I don't think that. I think it was a tackle football. We might as well put flags on these guys' waists now, because that's what this league is turning into. Everything is a penalty, and the problem I have with it is the penalties are so subjective. That's the thing. There's no black and white with a penalty. It is up to the referee's discretion. There's subjective penalties, which in my opinion is the reason why you have so many videos out there where people just saying this game is fixed. This league is fixed. This quarterback gets all the breaks. This one doesn't. This team doesn't. This team does. I think that's why, because they're so subjective. Like, you can watch a game and there'll be pass interference so blatant that and it's not called by a certain officiating team, and you just go, what the hell was that? Then you watch another game an hour later, where if a guy bumps into him accidentally, the whole thing is just stinks, and it's making the sport unwatchable at this point. And to me, anyways, I have to force myself to watch football games now, as sad as that sounds. But anyway, now that I got that off my chest, let's get to the game. The Jets. Okay, let's start out here. The Jets offense didn't look too bad. Rodgers looked really good last night. He was throwing the ball pretty well. He was hitting Garrett Wilson. Garrett was a stud last night. Allen Lazard had a good game. Everybody's usually critical of that guy. He drops everything, but last night he was catching. They were on target last night. The offense looked good. The defense, however, was absolutely putrid, absolutely disgusting to watch. A rookie running back on the Bills runs almost 100 yards, I think, or more in the first half of the game. They couldn't stop. There was holes big enough I could have run through them. The defense was just horrible last night. And just putrid a performance. I'm watching them. I'm thinking, who the hell are these guys? This is supposed to be a top 5 defense or whatever they tout themselves as, or whatever ESPN says. This defense stinks. They couldn't stop shit last night, and still the Bills only scored 23 points. And the Jets scored 23-20 final. Oh, what a heartbreaker, right? Well, if they don't throw that Hail Mary at the end of the first half, they don't have 20 points. They've got 13 points. The offense scored 13 points all night last night. That's what they scored. And to watch the Jets just kick themselves in the face every time. Greg Zuerlein, I hope they've got tryouts this morning because that guy's got to go. He's been struggling since preseason games. He hasn't looked right since they met up for practice. He dinks 2 balls last night. Not that the Jets would have won the game, but come on, man. I don't want to hear about it. It was windy, that because if Robert Saleh was around, that would be what he would be saying this morning. Well, it really was windy last night. That's bullshit. You're a fucking pro. Kick those balls, man. Figure it out. You don't practice that shit. Come on, man. And this guy, I can't remember his name on the Jets, Tyrod Smith, whatever his name is, number 77. He was personally responsible for Aaron Rodgers getting crushed twice that I counted last night, missing his blocks on screen passes. And when we got a touchdown at the end and everybody was excited, he gets a holding call way over here on the left-hand side where the call had nothing to do with anything. Holding call. This guy, I don't give a shit who he is. He's got to go. He was terrible last night, absolutely terrible. So the Jets, combined with their self-inflicted wounds, Rodgers throws another pick at the end of the game over. I mean, this is the same team I watched last year, and this is the same team I watched the year before that, and the year before that. This is no difference. You can see the frustration in Rodgers' face. You can see that they actually played fairly well. I mean, the offense was okay. They weren't killing anybody, but neither were the Bills. It was the defense last night. They just couldn't do anything. I mean, it's a good thing that the Bills are really kind of struggling on offense themselves, because they would have murdered them last night if they weren't. And I predicted the Jets were going to lose last night. I didn't want to, but I did. I knew that the offense hasn't showed us anything. They haven't showed us enough to win games. And anybody this morning who's going, oh, we should have won that game, we could have won that game. Bullshit. No, you couldn't have, because you didn't. Because an L is an L. At the end of the day, good teams win, bad teams lose. That's all there is to it. No, we shoulda, we coulda, we might have. That's all horse shit. They lost the game last night, period. End of story. So now we go into next week, which I don't even want to talk about next week's game because it's in Pittsburgh. Steelers are playing good ball. And let's not forget the Steelers defense is a lot better than the Bills defense. So, and their offense maybe not as good, but Justin Fields has that running capability. He's not playing bad ball. I don't know if he's going to play. Maybe Russell Wilson will. Who knows? We'll talk about that game during the week. But last night's game was just another same old Jets game to me. They find ways to lose. And this is what separates good teams from bad teams. If you have a shitty game, but your team finds a way to hang on and get that win, then to me, that's what good teams do. When you're a bad team, you just find ways to fuck up and lose. And that's just what the Jets did last night. So, anyway, it's another week, another loss. Now they're 2-4 going into Pittsburgh. If this team drops to 2-5, which by the way, if you watch a couple of my videos ago, I said they could be on a 3 or 4 game losing streak here and end up 2-5. They will end up 2-5 next weekend. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. This is a 7 or 8 win team, maybe. And that's me giving them some breaks because they do have some easy games coming up. I hope anyways. But this is a 7 or 8 win team. This is not a playoff team. This defense is absolutely horrible. This is the second or third time I've seen them play like this where this is a bottom 5 defense, not a top 5. I don't care what the numbers say. They were horrible last night. So, anyway, everybody have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think. Even if it's about the officiating stuff that I mentioned, the game, whatever it is, just leave a comment. Hit the like button if you enjoyed my video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Helps me out a lot. I appreciate everybody who watches and comments, and yeah. So everybody have a great day, and I will talk to you during the week. Bye now.